And we are live on YouTube. We are live on TikTok. Another day of mock drafting. I can feel the fantasy drafts around the corner. I think I actually have my first high stakes fantasy draft tomorrow night. That is actually an auction draft. All my high stakes fantasy drafts, they're in the next 2 to 3 weeks, guys. It's time to lock in and get prepared for these drafts with some legit mock drafts. Sending the link to the Discord now, about to put it in the YouTube comments as well. And then we are going to get started and sending the link to this mock draft in the YouTube live comments right now. I'm sure this is going to fill up extremely fast per usual. We got 4 spots left. You can join in the link in the YouTube live or the link in the Discord. 1 spot left. And we are starting. Here we go, guys. 12-team PPR mock draft. I'm drafting from the 3 slot in this one. Let's see how it goes. And Justin Jefferson goes first overall yet again. McCaffrey goes 2. And yeah, I think if I'm on the clock here at 3 and I see both of these guys go, I'm not going to overthink this one too much. And I'm going to take Jamar Chase. I think Chase should probably go second overall. I'm fine with CMC at second overall. But I feel just a little bit better about Chase than I do Kupp, just given the offense he's in. Not too worried about the Joe Burrow injury. Okay, the picks are starting to fly now. We got Kupp goes right after Chase. I think that makes a lot of sense. Eckler goes 5. Tyreek goes 6. Pretty standard start to a draft so far. Bijan going 7th overall to our Falcons creator. That's very on brand for you, Samps. Kelsey goes at 8. What's going on? Commanders.WalterPicks in the chat. We are back for some more mock drafting. I had the 3rd pick here. I took Jamar Chase 3rd overall. I'm not too worried about the Joe Burrow calf injury. Steph Diggs goes at 9. I really like the 9th pick if you can get Steph Diggs there. CeeDee Lamb goes 10. Saquon goes 11. I honestly think the more I think about the draft order, I want a top 4 pick, or I think I just want a back 3 pick. I really think you can get some really elite starts here with these back 3 picks, pick 10, 11, and 12. You're sitting there, you're still looking at Saquon and Nick Chubb. You got CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown. He goes here too. I mean, there's really, I think, a drop-off in the elite talent. By the way, guys, if you're watching live on TikTok, we're also live on YouTube. And on YouTube, link is right in the TikTok bio. You can see the entire draft board on the YouTube live. On TikTok, I can only show you kind of pieces of it at a time. We're going to be able to join the next one. Yep, Noah, you're going to be able to join the next one. If you hop into the YouTube live, I'll send the link to the next one in the comments there. No way for me to share links here on the TikTok live. Devontae Adams, Travis Kelce start here from the 8th slot. I think Devontae Adams is going to be a smash pick in the mid-second round. We haven't seen him have a bad fantasy season in years. I mean, it's been years, guys. Many years since we've seen Devontae Adams have a bad season. Let me pull up Devontae Adams game logs here on the live. We saw Devontae Adams have wide receiver 1 weeks. Look at his game logs here for Devontae Adams. He had wide receiver 1 weeks with Jimmy Garoppolo, Jarrett Stidham as his starting quarterback last year. I think Jimmy G is going to be able to withstand that this year. Man, a 44% target share games. Like he had a stretch here where he had 6 consecutive games over a 30% target share. You do not see that in the NFL very often. Olave went off the board. I'm on the clock now. Oh, man. I really don't want to take JT, but I'm feeling like I almost have to. I'm not doing it. I'm taking Devontae Smith. We're going Devontae Smith. I like Devontae Smith a lot in round 2. I think I like getting Amon-Ra St. Brown like a lot more than Devontae Smith. Obviously, Amon-Ra, though, he's going much earlier in the 2nd round. He's basically a first-round pick. Amon-Ra, AJ Brown, they're like should be first-round picks, but there's enough first-round talent. They're pushing to the beginning of the 2nd round. I don't think Devontae Smith is going to be going earlier than this in most drafts. I feel good about getting Devontae Smith here. I think Devontae Smith is closer to AJ Brown's type level of production than people realize. I really do feel like it's similar to the Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle type situation, or the T. Higgins, Jamar Chase situation. And I already drafted Jamar Chase. I'm not taking T. Higgins over Devontae Smith to begin with, but definitely not if I already have Jamar Chase. Okay, Ridley gets snagged 1 pick before me. I almost definitely would have taken him there. So I'm going to take Jalen Hurts here instead and stack him with Devontae Smith. I do like trying to get one of the top 3 QBs. If they slide into round 3, I'm not going to be taking them in round 2. I think I had them in how my second round should go video. But after thinking about it a little bit more and seeing how much they dropped to round 3, I feel okay grabbing those guys in round 3. I feel I'm getting kind of scared, honestly, about some of these running backs here. I mean, Breece Hall, I still feel good about, but you got to believe he's going to be sliding down draft boards with the Dalvin Cook signing. What's up, Colby, in the YouTube live? Hey, Sam, what's going on? What's going on, Golden Beast? We're live on TikTok and YouTube right now, guys. On the YouTube live, you can see the entire draft board in one view. Link to the YouTube live is right in the TikTok bio. Very easy to find. Shout out Sleeper, by the way, where I'm drafting right now. By far the best place to do mock drafts is Sleeper. That's the platform I'm using right now. Pick 2, Dalvin, Swift, Madison. Yeah, I think I'm going Madison over Dalvin and Swift. I'm still kind of digesting the Dalvin Cook situation, but we still have Swift projected pretty well ahead of Dalvin Cook at this point. You doing another mock draft after this one? Yeah, for sure. I'm going to do another mock draft after this one, and a link to that mock draft will be sent right in the YouTube live comments. I can't send links, I don't think, in the TikTok live comments. So come to the YouTube live if you want to try to get in the next one. Again, link to that's right in the TikTok bio, and you can see the whole draft board at once on that screen. Okay, let's look at how these first 3 rounds have shaken out, guys. You know, there's a lot of time you got to pour into being prepared for your drafts, but by far the most important part of your draft is the first 5 picks, and we got 3 of those in this mock draft right now. The person at the start, they went Jefferson, JT, or Ramondre Stevenson. I'm starting to warm up to JT a little bit. Obviously, he reported to camp this week, but he's still not practicing. He still has that ankle injury that plagued him last season. He still hates his team. He still wants to be traded. I don't think he's going to get traded. So I'm still nervous overall about the situation, but with how the running backs are looking and where you're going to get Jonathan Taylor in drafts, you're getting him basically in the beginning of the 3rd round, that definitely can be a league-winning pick there. I'm feeling fine about Mondre with the Zeke signing. I think it lowers his TD ceiling a little bit. Should bump him down drafts a little bit as well, though. I think beginning of the 3rd round is a little bit steep, but he's still going to catch a lot of passes, and this is a PPR draft. Eckler, Waddle, Mark Andrews, I like that start a lot. Tyreek Hill, Josh Jacobs, T. Higgins, I don't hate that at all either. Josh Jacobs still holding out, though. I'm feeling more and more confident he's going to report, but there's been no movement on that the entire preseason so far. Bijan, Garrett Wilson, Joe Mixon, I do like that start as well. Travis Kelce, Adams, DK Metcalf. That's a pretty hot start, in my opinion, too. Stephon Diggs, Derrick Henry, Najee Harris. Derrick Henry went earlier than I've seen him go, and in most of these mock drafts we've done so far, I think there's going to be a wide range of where he goes in drafts. I am feeling pretty good about Derrick Henry, though, in the 2nd round this year, especially with how the rest of the running back market is starting to get pretty sketchy with some of these running back signings. I really do like Amari Cooper a lot in the 4th round, too, especially if you can stack Amari Cooper and Deshaun Watson this year. I like that as a league-winning stack a decent amount. Taylor, we will be doing another mock draft after this. Who to take instead of ETN? Not a fan with Tank there. Yeah, I'm not a fan of ETN with Tank there either. ETN is a pretty good bet, guys, to lose the goal line role and some of the receiving work to Tank Bigsby. Definitely nervous about Travis Etienne as well. Look how early he's going. I mean, this could be a complete hole in your team if Tank Bigsby takes the touchdown role and then he also takes a lot of targets. I mean, sorry, Etienne's not going to pay off that 3rd round price tag. Almost no chance. I still think Etienne's a talented running back on a good offense, but he's going to need some of that goal line red zone work to be able to produce in fantasy football. I like this pick here for this Kelce team who didn't go running back first 3 rounds. Aaron Jones is a great bet in PPR formats. I think he's going to be the focal point of the Packers offense. Thoughts on in a 12-man PPR with the 3rd pick going wide receiver, running back, QB? Yeah, so I have the 3rd pick here. And if I went running back in the 2nd round, I probably would have gone with Jonathan Taylor. I considered that. I'm still a little bit nervous about his overall situation, and the fact that he hates his team makes me pretty worried that he's going to be bought in for the Colts this year. How far did Breece and Ramondre fall in your rankings? Yeah, this is a great question. Fantasy Dude, by the way, keep up the grind, Fantasy Dude, with the content. But yeah, this is a great question that is on everyone's minds right now. So Breece, he fell more than Mondre did in the rankings, but neither of them fell too dramatically. I think Mondre went from about top 12 to maybe 15th overall in the rankings. I can actually pull it up. I have it here right in front of me. We can look at some of these RB rankings here on the live. But I think Mondre, I don't think we've reduced his target share at all. I don't think it's going to eat into Mondre's targets. Oh, let me take my pick here first. And wow, Breece Hall sitting here in the 4th round. And guys, I'm not going to be able to contain myself if I see this in real drafts. And yes, I get I get the Dalvin Cook signing, bumping him down, but I don't think he should be going almost in the 5th round of fantasy drafts. I'm going to be able to get Saquon Barkley 2.0. I don't care if Dalvin's on his team. I'm still taking him in the 4th round. We'll see if our rankings agree with that pick here. But as a team that hasn't taken a running back yet, I still feel really strongly, guys, that Brees can win leagues, especially down the stretch of the fantasy season. And I'm going to be up very soon here, and then I will pull up the rankings. I do want to see where Mondre and Brees shake out. I'm actually not sure if the Mondre, actually I think it is. I think both those rankings are already updated in app. Really good pick there. I don't think I've seen very much 5th round Judy in drafts. That's definitely a strong team building here if Jonathan Taylor ends up playing. Kamara gets taken, and I'm gonna attack this tight end here before it drops off. I'm gonna take Darren Waller here ahead of Pitts, ahead of Goddard. I'm still in my mind thinking through Pitts, Goddard, and Waller, but I do really like Darren Waller a lot. I think his ceiling is top 3 tight end in fantasy football. All right, let me pull up the rankings here. I want to see how we adjusted for the running backs. So here's the PPR running back rankings in the WalterPicks app. This app is totally free to download and install, and almost all of it's free to test out for the draft tool as well. If you haven't checked it out yet, guys, try the WalterPicks app. It's in the iOS and Android app store. You can find the link in my TikTok bio and in the YouTube description. So we got Brees falling a lot here in these projections. It makes me feel a lot less good about taking him here in the 4th round. I still think his ceiling is going to be really high, though. And then I think Mondre, he's above here. And yeah, he's still ranked as RB12. So he went, I think, maybe from RB10 to RB12. Maybe there's a case of bumping like 2 more spots down here. But for Mondre Stevenson, still likely going to be top 5 in the NFL in running back target share. We got Mondre projected ahead of him here. But yeah, look, the ceiling is higher for Brees. And I think that does make sense with how we saw Brees perform last year. I think we're projecting Dalvin to lead the team in carries for the first 4 games, and then Brees to take over from there. Obviously, there's a really wide range of outcomes here, though, and it's a lot of assumptions. But I don't think we reduced Brees Hall's target share very much at all. Definitely, this is a huge hit, though, to Michael Carter, to Israel Abikanda, and all the other backup running backs for the Jets, who almost definitely won't see the field. I did find it very interesting, too, in the Dalvin Cook news that he's still recovering from a shoulder injury. It makes a lot more sense now why Dalvin Cook took so long to sign, because he can't even practice yet. He's still dealing with a shoulder injury. That does give me a little bit more confidence that maybe Brees will out-touch him in week 1 if Dalvin's still recovering from an injury of his own. So definitely a really fluid situation to monitor really closely. A lot of assuming that's going to have to happen here. But yeah, I'm still in on Brees. And I like that his price is going down. After looking at those rankings, though, I feel not as great taking him in the 4th round. I think 5th round is probably a little bit better place to try to target Brees in the drafts. What's Keenan's ceiling? Yeah, so you can in the WalterPicks app too. You can all do this yourself. Let's take a look at Keenan, though. I think Keenan versus Mike Williams is a really interesting comparison, because I think in my mind, Keenan Allen's floor is high, assuming he stays healthy, but Mike Williams' ceiling is higher. Our app has both the ceiling and floor higher for Keenan Allen. Makes sense based on the historical production for both of these guys. But yeah, I mean, Keenan can be a top 10 wide receiver if he stays healthy, but we've seen the efficiency decline for multiple seasons in a row now with Keenan Allen. He's absolutely past his prime, but I am very bullish on this Chargers offense overall. I also I think Mike Williams a little bit more just because of the price. Look at the difference in price here. These projections are pretty close, guys. Mike Williams is going about 3 rounds after Keenan Allen. So yeah, I like Mike Williams definitely much more at cost. Makes sense Keenan to be projected a little bit as well. How do you join your sleeper drafts? Yeah, so you got to be in our Discord. Link to that is in the YouTube description. We're live on TikTok and YouTube right now, guys. And on the YouTube live, you can see the entire draft board at once. So you can't do that on the sleeper live because it's not from my computer, but on the YouTube live it is. Link to that's right in the TikTok bio. That's also how you join the mock drafts in the future. Mixon or Gibbs? Yeah, so let's see where those 2 guys went in this draft. Mixon went 3.7. And where did Jahmyr Gibbs go? He went 3.12. I think I'd personally feel safer with Mixon, but more excited about Gibbs. I'm going to be taking Gibbs, I think, over Mixon. Yeah, I'm taking Gibbs over Mixon. I want to shoot for that ceiling. I do think that Mixon's a pretty safe bet in a good offense, and he has no touch competition. I mean, there's nothing behind Joe Mixon. What's up, Sam? Good to see you again. Good to see you as well, Jack, in the YouTube comments. But Jahmyr Gibbs has more league winning upside than Joe Mixon. The thing with Gibbs that you really need to understand is David Montgomery is going to be very, very involved. It's going to be very similar to their approach to DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams last year, except Jahmyr Gibbs is better than DeAndre Swift, and David Montgomery is better than Jamal Williams. I'm very bullish on the backfield just overall, but I like David Montgomery more at their 2 costs. Man, this is pretty good value here for Pitts and Goddard. Round 6, Pitts and Goddard, I think you should feel pretty good with. I'm about to be back on the clock here. I took Breece in the 4th. I don't feel great about it after looking at our rankings. We actually have Rachaad White ranked ahead of Breece now in our rankings. We might adjust those a little bit more, as more news comes out about what's expected to happen in that backfield. I'm going to go David Montgomery here, though, with my next pick. A little bit of a reach at his ADP, but as I was just saying, really like him at his price versus Gibbs at Jahmyr Gibbs' 3rd round price. I think both these guys are going to be really involved in a really good offense behind a very good offensive line. And David Montgomery is the better bet to get Jamal Williams' role from last year. And that's really the role that you want in this offense. This is the role that scored 19 touchdowns last season, which I think was number 2, only behind Austin Eckler in running back touchdowns. And I think David Montgomery is better, a more efficient running back than Jamal Williams. I'm really excited to see what he can do in this offense. I think he's going to have a really high weekly ceiling and honestly a solid weekly floor too. He also can catch passes. Where is your Discord? The link to the Discord is in our YouTube description. We're live on YouTube and TikTok right now. The YouTube Live, you're 2 presses of your finger away from. If you're on TikTok, it's right in the TikTok bio. All right, we're back on the clock here. Man, I don't think I would draft Dalvin and Breece the same team. I don't feel great about that. I actually think I'm gonna take Deontay Johnson here, who is really going to be one of the guys I'm really aggressively targeting. I mean, guys, Deontay Johnson, he's going in the 7th round. I posted a video about my favorite wide receiver targets in each round. I actually think Deontay might have been in round 8 in that video where he usually goes. But guys, Deontay Johnson, he's ranked top 6 in targets in the NFL for 3 straight years. And he's going outside the top 32 wide receivers in fantasy because he scored 0 touchdowns last year. He's going to score some TDs this year. I think he is a fantastic flex option in your starting lineup in PPR formats. He's really one of the safest picks in fantasy. The dude is going to rank top 10 in targets again this year for the 4th straight year. Very excited to get him in the 7th round. Hello, friend. Excited for football season. How's it going, Danny? In the YouTube Live, Monty will finish the top 5 back this year. I don't think I would go that far, but I do like Monty. How has Dalvin gone undrafted? Yeah, he's gone undrafted. Really interesting to see where Dalvin ends up going in some of these mocks. Nobody's taken him yet. He's definitely at the top of the running back list at this point too, which is telling that people are passing him. And I think he actually just went, as we said, that Dalvin Cook goes here in the 7th round. But what is the real ceiling for Dalvin Cook in this Jets offense? Because Breece is for sure better than Dalvin Cook. Breece Hall is a better running back than Dalvin Cook. So what's the ceiling for Dalvin? It's like being the 1B to Breece Hall's 1A. He'll definitely still catch some passes. He absolutely can score some touchdowns and have some big games. But are we going to get a consistent role that we can trust in our starting lineup every single week from Dalvin Cook when he's not the best running back on his own team? I'm not so sure, man. I'm really not so sure. So, yeah, I don't think I'll be targeting Dalvin super aggressively. Breece Hall's at 100%, guys. He's playing week 1. And meanwhile, Dalvin Cook is not practicing yet because he has a shoulder injury that he's recovering from himself. Spencer Lawrence, yo, what's going on, man? Thoughts on Drake London? Yeah, I do like Drake London as a year 2 wide receiver. I'm just nervous about the Falcons offense in general. Again, not being pass heavy enough. Do you mind a Josh Jacobs and Jonathan Taylor stack with Jefferson on either of those RBs and Waddle? Yeah, I'd like that a lot. I don't hate Jacobs and JT at their prices. It seems like Jacobs is going, Jacobs went earlier than JT in this draft. I feel like I'm usually seeing JT go before Jacobs. Neither guy has practiced this entire preseason. JT, though, is the one dealing with an injury. Josh Jacobs isn't injured. Josh Jacobs is just upset about his contract situation. And so he hasn't reported to camp yet. JT has reported to camp, but he's still pissed about his contract situation. He's requested a trade, and he's still recovering from ankle surgery. Both guys have a lot of question marks, but we also know both guys can be top 5 running backs in fantasy football. I mean, JT was the consensus first overall pick in fantasy last year. Josh Jacobs led the league in yards, and I think he led the league in touches even too last year. If he didn't, he was extremely close. I think getting both these guys, they definitely have league winning upside, but they also can absolutely tank your season. So it's certainly close. Is it smart to take Bijan at 7? I'm fine with Bijan at 7. I know there's been a lot of discourse. Is Bijan safe? Is Bijan not safe? I think he's pretty safe. I think he's a relatively safe pick in fantasy football. We don't see guys go where he goes in the NFL draft. and not see pretty elite usage out of the gates. And then on top of that, he's joining the most efficient rushing offense in the NFL from last season. It feels like his floor is pretty high. I would maybe caution people about the ceiling just a little bit because I do think the Falcons will mix in Tyler Algier, who just broke the rookie rushing record for the Falcons last season. And I also think that Cordero Patterson will have a role in that backfield as well. But yeah, Bijan's a pretty safe bet. I'm fine taking him at 7. I would probably prefer Stephon Diggs over him. And I think Saquon and Chubb are like in that same tier. And Tony Pollard, same tier as Bijan in my mind. But I'm fine. I'm fine taking him in the first round. I would not say you should not do that. Okay. Kadarius Toney, get an auto pick to our Chiefs creator. That's pretty poetic there. I'm back on the clock. And we're going to take Gabe Davis here in the 8th round. I'm absolutely smashing the Gabe Davis picks in the 8th round. Gabe Davis, he averaged a little over 11 PPR points per game last year, but he was battling an ankle injury almost the entire season. There's been really good reports out of him from training camp. He's finally at full health, and hopefully he can keep those ankles healthy throughout the season. Guys, he was running a ton of routes for Josh Allen and the Bills last season. Let me pull up some Gabe Davis game logs here, and you can really see the drop-off in his efficiency when looking at these game logs. This is from the WalterPicks app, by the way, free to install and download in the iOS and Android app store. You can see all these game logs for free in the WalterPicks app. But, I mean, look at these routes. 58 routes, 42 routes, 41 routes, 39 routes for the Bills offense. I want that guy as a bench player on my fantasy teams. I think he's going to have a better season than last year. And we already saw some pretty elite weeks out of him. He finishes the number 1 overall receiver when he played the Steelers in week 5, another week in the top 10, later in week 10. He really dominates some of these better matchups, and I'm feeling bullish about him and where you can get him. I've got him in the 8th round of this draft. Guys, last year he was going in the 4th round. I was all the way out on Gabe Davis last year. Doug, I knew you were going Davis there. Yeah, Daniel, I posted a video about Gabe Davis today as one of my favorite targets. I actually posted a video about Deontay Johnson today too. I think both these guys, I mean, smash picks here in the 7th and 8th round of fantasy drafts, especially PPR leagues. And I'm between Brian Robinson and Zach Charbonnet here. I feel like Robinson's the safer play, but I think Charbonnet has a higher ceiling. Oh, man. I feel like I got to go the safer play, though, because I did go Breece. I did go Breece Hall. I'm not feeling great about this Breece pick. The running backs get really scary, guys, after Tony Pollard is picked, or really Derrick Henry. After Tony Pollard, Derrick Henry is off the board, like we're all in just full sketchiness mode with all the rest of the running backs. I think you can poke holes in basically every running back after Derrick Henry. It's Saquon, Nick Chubb, Tony Pollard, Derrick Henry, Bijan, Eckler, and CMC. After that, JT, he should be good, but he's also not practicing still and dealing with an ankle injury. Or Mondre, they just signed Zeke. Joe Mixon, a little bit washed. Not too many explosive plays out of Mixon last year, but he's in a good offense. Najee has zero explosiveness. 0 explosive plays last year. Travis Etienne, Tank Bigsby could be eating into some of his role. Jahmyr Gibbs is probably going to be splitting 50-50 with David Montgomery. Aaron Jones is going to be splitting with A.J. Dillon. Dameon Pierce is on the Texans. I mean, their offensive line should be good. They signed Devin Singletary. I don't think he's going to get like an insane workload. He's one of the safer guys. Kenneth Walker, I feel good about, but he's coming back from a groin injury right now. J.K. Dobbins, I think, is going to be a good pick, but I don't like that he doesn't catch passes. He has one of the lowest target rates in the NFL at the running back position over the last couple of years. Breece Hall, they just signed Dalvin. That's who I ended up going with. I still think his ceiling is really, really high. Alvin Kamara, he's suspended the first 3 games. I still like him where he's going. I feel like if you're not getting, though, one of these first running backs, CMC, Eckler, Bijan, Saquon Barkley, Nick Chubb, Tony Pollard, Derrick Henry, I think a good strat this year is to wait on the running back position unless you feel really confident Jacobs is going to report, which I do think Jacobs is going to report. He is at least fully healthy. I feel better about Jacobs than I do JT. I think waiting on the running back position and getting guys in these later rounds like David Montgomery, getting guys like James Cook, like Rashad White, even like Khalil Herbert, Brian Robinson, Zach Charbonnet, some of these guys that have upside, but at least you don't have to spend a lot to get that upside on your team. I don't hate that strat at all this year. Again, if you're watching live on TikTok, come to the YouTube live. You can see the entire draft board over on YouTube. What do you think about Waddle and Tua stack? Yeah, I like that stack. I like tacking Tua with Waddle and with Tyreek. There's a really consolidated target share for the Dolphins. What about drafting Dalvin Cook? Yeah, I don't really love it. I don't love it. He went pretty late in this draft. Where did he get picked in this draft? He definitely got taken. I feel like I'm staring right at him, but I'm not seeing him. There he is. He went to the 8th overall pick here. Yeah, we are staring right at him. He went in the 7th round. What is the ceiling for Dalvin Cook without a Breece Hall injury? I think a Breece Hall injury, league-winning upside for Dalvin Cook. I'm on board with that. But without a Breece Hall injury, what's the ceiling for Dalvin Cook? He's going to be the 1A to Breece's 1B, and maybe he gets the 1B to Breece's 1A, because I don't think you can convince me that Breece is going to be the 1B to Dalvin's 1A. So is that the best case scenario for Dalvin without a Breece injury? And in that case, what's his ceiling? Like an inconsistently boomer bust running back who's touchdown dependent? Like, I think he'll catch passes still and have a role. I don't know. I think like where he got taken in this draft is a pretty reasonable place to be taking him. Not like you have to invest super high draft capital in your fantasy draft to get him. But I think before round 7 is going to be too aggressive for me with Dalvin Cook. I still think he's an injury away from being like a league winner. Thoughts on Khalil Herbert? I like taking stabs on that ambiguous backfield, but I do think they're going to have a rotation at running back this year. So that's why you're seeing him go. He went in the 9th round of this draft. All right, I'm on the clock here again. Let's see what we're looking at. And man, I think I'm going to have a lot of Raheem Mostert this year. I think one of the low-key winners of that Dalvin Cook signing, Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson, Devin Achane, unscathed from any free agent running back signing. I don't expect the Dolphins to sign a free agent running back that's left now. It's really Leonard Fournette and Kareem Hunt that are still out there waiting to sign. Jack is only drafting Chiefs. I think Jack just queued up Chiefs. Like he's back. He was auto drafting for a second there, but yeah, he's just hammering the Chiefs now in this mock draft. That's our Chiefs creator in that draft slot there. But yeah, I like Raheem Mostert a lot. I think he's the pretty clear RB1 for the Dolphins heading into week 1. I do think there'll be a rotation there too, but you're getting an RB1 for a pretty good offense in the 10th round. You can definitely sign me up for that. I think I'll probably go Jacoby here. I think Jacoby and Odell. I think there's a good case for Odell over Jacoby as well, but I'm going to go with Jacoby Myers. I think his season from last year has been really underrated from the public's perception. He ranked wide receiver 29 in PPR formats last year on a per game basis on a really bad Patriots offense. Braxton Berrios is going now. Get the small Dallas running back. That's Deuce Vaughn. The Deuce is going to be loose this season with Deuce Vaughn. Where should Kelsey go in a tiered PPR league? What's a tiered PPR league? What does that mean? A Cup or Hill at pick 4 in 10-man league. Yeah, I lean Cooper Kupp. A lot of people are going to tell you Tyreek Hill. I personally will take Cooper Kupp over Tyreek Hill all day long. I'll take Juju in this area. Yeah, I don't hit that at all. Yeah, Deuce Vaughn is his name. That's a little Dallas Cowboys running back. Is Olave really going to be that good? Yeah, Olave is going to be good. Olave showed a lot of really, really promising signs as a rookie receiver. I feel like I like Devontae Smith, though, like a lot more than Olave. I'm taking Devontae Smith over Olave. I think Ridley over Olave isn't like that unreasonable. I think we probably have Olave ahead of Ridley in our ranks, but I think they're really close. But yeah, I feel better about Devontae Smith than I do Chris Olave. But yeah, Olave is going to be a beast, guys. He's going to be a beast. He's going to dominate the targets, the air yards in that offense. Is Danny Dimes and a Darren Waller an underrated stack? Absolutely, it's an underrated stack. Darren Waller is definitely a tight end to target pretty aggressively. You saw I took him in the 5th round of this draft from the 3 slot. But Daniel Jones is a really, really great late round QB to target as well. Daniel Jones didn't even get picked in this draft. He didn't get picked in the first 11 rounds of this draft. No Daniel Jones selected. I feel really good about him. All right, guys, we're going to do one more mock draft here. Let me flip this around. We're doing one more mock draft. I'm going to send the link in the YouTube live, and I'm going to get to some questions too in the comments. Let me start this up. I'm going to take the 5 slot this time, mix it up a little bit. I think I do have a draft from the 5 slot. And I'm sending the link to the mock draft in the YouTube comments. Where did Keenan Allen go? I think I just pulled away from this mock draft, but I think Keenan Allen went in the 3rd or 4th round of that mock. I just sent the link to the mock draft in the YouTube comments, and we are full, and we are going to start this mock draft. We got a few members of the creator team here in this mock. Let me flip the camera for the TikTok live people. And we're starting again, PPR mock draft, 12 teams. I got the 12th pick. Sorry, I got the 5th pick this time in this draft. Again, if you come to the YouTube live, you can see the entire draft board on the screen at once. Which was your favorite draft? Yeah, I'll go back and I'll take a look at it after this one. But I did really like that Kelsey team who waited on running back. That team was definitely my favorite. Is Tom Brady going to come back this year? No, he's not coming back. He got a huge deal with Fox to be an announcer. He's not coming back. He's not coming back, guys. Kenneth Walker and Deontay Johnson for ETN and JSN. Who wins? Yeah, I'm taking the Kenneth Walker side of that trade. Okay, I'm on the clock here, and I got Cooper Kupp at 3. Sorry, I got Jamar Chase at 3 overall last time. Cooper Kupp, wow, he's really going to start sliding. He's really going to start sliding these drafts. I'm going to go Eckler this time and start with a running back build to see how that turns out. I do think there's really just so few really trustworthy elite running backs, and they're all going to be gone by my next pick in this draft. Go Hill. Yeah, I'm not taking Tyreek Hill. I'm not taking Tyreek Hill over Cooper Kupp or Austin Eckler. I feel like I'm not going to end up with him in any drafts, which is definitely a little bit scary. But I feel better about Kupp in PPR than I do Tyreek, and I feel better about Eckler too in PPR than I do Tyreek. No, I'm not worried about Cooper Kupp's hamstring really at all. The reports since it happened were that he's going to be back practicing before week 1. So I'm not overly concerned about the Cooper Kupp hamstring. It does feel like other people are. I mean, he slid all the way to the 8th pick in this draft. Really crazy. I think without a hamstring injury in preseason, which again, he should be 100% fully recovered from in the next 10 days, like there's a legitimate argument for Cooper Kupp first overall. He was the number 1 wide receiver in points per game last year. The last full healthy season he had was one of the most historic wide receiver seasons we've seen in our lifetimes. He is going to surpass 10 targets in every single game. Every single game, Cooper Kupp is a lock for 10 targets. It's insane how heavily he is targeted in this offense with Matthew Stafford. So yeah, I'm not too worried about the hamstring injury, but obviously if it does linger in close to week 1, that's definitely going to be much scarier. Jack, I think you for sure lost the draft last time, drafted basically the entire Chiefs team. Thoughts on Jerry Jeudy this year? Yeah, I like Jeudy a lot. I think he's a solid late third, early 4th round pick in drafts this year. Entered my first draft and I landed 12th. Can do one where you're 12 so I can just see how it looks. Yeah, I can try to get to one at 12. Also, though, if you haven't downloaded the WalterPicks app yet, definitely download the WalterPicks app. It's going to help you a lot in your fantasy drafts, no matter where you're picking from. And you can even sync your league to the draft tool in the WalterPicks app, or you can just manually swipe left and right as players are taken. And it's going to help you build some absolutely dominant teams. And it's going to be custom to your league settings too. So definitely recommend the WalterPicks app. You can find a link to that in the TikTok bio or YouTube description. All right, I'm back on the clock here. And yeah, we'll take Jalen Waddle. Start with Austin Eckler, Jalen Waddle in round 2. We'll see what's there in round 3. What app is this? Yeah, so the app you're looking at here, this is the Sleeper platform and app. By far the best place to code KC must be bugged or something then. By far the best place to do mock drafts is Sleeper for sure. Hey Sam, love the app. What do you think of Javonte this year? Yeah, Jordan, I'm pretty cautious with Javonte Williams this year, and it feels like it could be one of my bigger mistakes of the offseason and in this draft season. I still have some time to rethink this for my personal season-long drafts. And the nice thing about Javonte, at least in these season-long drafts, as opposed to the best ball drafts I've been doing all offseason, it's not like you're paying that much to get Javonte Williams. If I pull up this list here, Javonte's going really late. I mean, 78th overall pick. He's going behind Pacheco, behind Dalvin, behind Rashad White, behind James Conner. I mean, at that price, I think I could talk myself into it. But I am definitely nervous about the injury he's coming off of. It was a really bad knee injury. He didn't just tear his ACL. There was multiple tears, ACL, MCL, and LCL that he tore. It's really rare we see guys come back so fast after that and be themselves. But apparently he's playing in the next preseason game. So that's definitely a really encouraging sign for him. And depending on how that looks and goes, I might change my stance here a little bit because I think Javonte is really, really talented. I think the Broncos are going to benefit from Sean Payton a lot this year. But yeah, I'm still generally nervous about the knee injury that he's coming off of. Yeah, see, like this is the point in the draft where I'm going to start to warm up to Jonathan Taylor a little bit. Like if I can get round 3 JT, I feel like I can talk myself into that. I still feel much better about Josh Jacobs, but now I can focus on receivers. I do feel better about my late round receivers a little bit than the late round running backs. Who is first pick? Oh, come on. Jack, get out of here with this. We're trying to have real mock drafts here. We're trying to have real mock drafts. Jack is going to be banned from these mocks moving forward. He took Sky Moore with the first pick. That is an absolute joke. This is our Chiefs creator here, who is now going to be barred from these mocks. This is not the reps. These are not the reps that I need, Jack. All right, Mark Andrews goes in the 3rd round. I wanted to go JT, but can't go him and Jacobs. Yeah, you can't. You can't take Jacobs and JT. I think that's just way too risky. Guys, if you're watching live on YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button. Really do appreciate that. So the league sync in the WalterPicks app with Sleeper, it only works for real leagues. It does not work for mock drafts. Only works for real leagues. So unfortunately, you can't sync your league to a mock draft, but you can still use manual mode with mock drafts where you're swiping left and right to tell the app who's on your team and who's been taken. So it still can help with that, but yeah, it's not going to sync directly. How high would you take Bijan for non-PPR? Yeah, I actually think he gets a really big bump in non-PPR formats in the rankings in the WalterPicks app, because running backs generally that score touchdowns are going to get bumped up in non-PPR rankings. So yeah, I think top 8 makes a lot of sense for Bijan in non-PPR. Sam, assuming JT completely changes his attitude and is deemed fully healthy, where are you taking him? Yeah, so Hadley, I'm taking him in early round 2, like right around the Pollard, Derrick Henry range. I think makes a lot of sense. I probably would take him, by like latest mid of round 2, assuming that he's back to full health and he compromises and changes his attitude. It's a good way to put it, towards his organization, and maybe the organization changes their attitude towards him a little bit. Yeah, I think like mid round 2, as early as late round 1 makes sense for Jonathan Taylor. He's going to be a huge part of that offense if healthy. Does it only work with Sleeper? Nope. The WalterPicks app also works with ESPN and Yahoo. You can sync directly to all 3 of the major platforms in the WalterPicks app. All right. I'm going to be on the clock soon. What do you think the best pick in the draft is? Yeah, so I was talking about this in the first mock draft we did. I really like the top 5 and then the back 3. I think I like the top 5 and the back 3, but also this is the first mock draft I've seen Cooper Kupp go 8th overall. And I mean, I might get to the point where I just like whatever pick Cooper Kupp goes at. If he's going to go past the top 6 in all these drafts, I think people are overreacting to a minor hamstring injury from Cooper Kupp. Debo's still there. Man, Hawkinson's still there too. We're going to take Debo Samuel as my wide receiver 2 here. I don't love Debo in season-long formats as much as I do in best ball formats, because I with how many weapons 49ers have in that offense, definitely can be a guy that is tough to trust on a week-to-week basis. He can have some huge weeks, but then there also could be some weeks where just McCaffrey, Kittle, and Brandon Ayuk just dominate the targets. But I think Debo's justifiable at this price after these receivers are off. I like Amari Cooper more than him. I definitely like DK Metcalf more than him as well, but I do not like DeAndre Hopkins more than Debo Samuel. And I don't like Jerry Jeudy more than Debo Samuel either, though I will consider Jeudy with this next pick for sure. And I'll consider McLaurin too, but I'm more so interested in these tight ends going around this range and some of the quarterbacks too. Thoughts on Keenan Allen? Is this chalkboard? No, this is not chalkboard. This is Sleeper. This is the Sleeper app. By far the best place to do mock drafts and real drafts, real leagues when it comes to fantasy football. Should have gone Hawk. Yeah, I probably should have gone Hawk. You're probably right. Also, Ryan, just seeing Kittle go 1 pick after Hawk, that makes me feel really good about that Hawkinson pick. Like, amazing value. If Kittle's going 1 pick after the Hawkinson pick, whoever took Hawkinson should feel like ecstatic about that. All right, I'm back on the clock here, and I'm gonna go with. Oh man, yeah, I feel like I should have gone TJ Hawkinson. I kind of want to go Drake London, but I'm instead going to go Darren Waller again in the 5th. Makes me really wish I swapped. I wish I had Hawkinson, and then I could have gone receiver with this pick. I'm not even looking at the running backs at this point because I already have Eckler and JT on the squad. Yeah, JT at 3.5. I don't think I'm going to be passing on that if that happens. Any way to move your camera so we can see the options? Oh, yeah, sorry. I can move my camera. Thank you for that feedback. Can move it over here. Is that better? That's definitely better. Yeah, you can see the options way better here on the YouTube Live. Shout out to Dallas Darty for that feedback. James Conner thoughts. Yeah, Conner's one of these guys that, there's a really good story to tell. Keenan Allen went in the 4th in this draft. I think Keenan Allen's a pretty safe pick, guys. He's a safe pick. I'm just nervous about his decline in efficiency over the last 2 years. But I'm very bullish on the offense. He's clearly going to be top 2 in targets on this team, probably number 1 if he can just stay healthy, which he wasn't able to do last year. But if he stays healthy, Keenan's going to return value, I think, in PPR formats at this price. That being said, though, I like Amari Cooper more than him, and I would take Amari Cooper over Keenan Allen. Okay. James Conner thoughts. Yeah, so James Conner's still on the board here. You definitely can talk yourself into James Conner being a workhorse running back because that's exactly what the team is saying he's going to be. And Keontae Ingram is his backup. And like you look at some of his game logs down the stretch last year. Let me move myself here again so you guys can see this on the YouTube live. I mean, he didn't come off the field. 96% of the snaps, 92% of the snaps, 97% of the snaps. He had over 20 points 2 of those 3 weeks, 3 of those 4 weeks. I mean, over 15 points in basically all of them. But he's playing on the worst offense likely in the NFL, at least for as long as Kyler Murray's out. Kyler Murray's going to probably miss anywhere from like the first 2 to 6 games. I think it's probably going to be closer to 2 than 6. Most people I feel like are drafting like it's going to be closer to 6. I think it's probably going to be closer to 2 for Kyler Murray in the games that he misses this year. I mean, Zach Ertz, guys. Zach Ertz tore his ACL after Kyler Murray tore his ACL. Zach Ertz is already back fully playing, and he's older and less athletic than Kyler is. I think Kyler will be back soon. They're not going to rush him back, of course, but I do think he'll be back sooner than people expect. And that should help James Conner. But yeah, they have the lowest projected win total. But the thing is with James Conner, he also catches passes. Keenan was not the move last year in the WalterPicks 32. No, with the injuries, definitely was not great. Would you rather have Sky Moore or Rice? Definitely Sky Moore for me over Rice. I think Sky Moore is the only Chiefs wide receiver I would draft in season-long formats. I don't think any of the other receivers in that offense have really any reasonable chance of like a consistent weekly role in the Chiefs offense. All right. We're back on the clock here. Man, Cam Akers is still there. I don't hate that in round 7. But we're going to go Deshaun here with this pick. And I do like Deshaun in round 6. I think Deshaun Watson, out of all the quarterbacks that have been taken so far, like Deshaun is the last guy in this tier that can really, you can tell a story about him jumping up into this elite tier. We've seen him in that tier not that long ago. They add Elijah Moore this offseason. You can tell a pretty clear story about why he struggled so much last season after taking basically 2 full years off from football. Deshaun is not a guy I really want to root for. He's not really a guy I want to root for. But because I'm in some high-stakes fantasy leagues, I'm willing to put that aside and draft who I think can win my fantasy league. I do think Deshaun is on that list. And I think his rushing upside is a little bit slept on, generally speaking, right now. In what I saw in his first preseason game, and he's running in the first preseason game. If he's running in the preseason, he's for sure going to be running in the real regular season. Aaron Jones or Ramondre? Yeah, this one's definitely closer now that Zeke has been signed. Ramondre is probably going to go before Aaron Jones in almost every single draft. I think I would probably agree with that, with Mondre over Aaron Jones still, but it's definitely much, much closer now. It's definitely much closer, and they're in kind of similar situations where they should lead their team at the running back position. They should get a lot of targets, but there's going to be a second guy very involved, and a second guy that also could carve out some goal line and short yardage work. So it's actually closer than I think people realize. But yeah, I think I still lean Mondre just a little bit. I do think Mondre still gets more targets than Aaron Jones this year, but definitely much, much closer after the Zeke signing. Okay, we're back on the clock here for our flex pick, and I'm just gonna keep doing it. I think I'm just gonna keep pressing the button in round 7 when this situation comes to me, and I'm just gonna take the guy who's been top 6 in targets for 3 straight years in PPR formats. I'm taking that all day. Crazy to say Austin Eckler is gonna fall out of the top 5 RBs this year. Yeah, it's probably a little bit crazy. I don't think he'll fall out of the top 5. I mean, I don't think it's super likely. It'll be interesting in this new offense, though. They do have a new offensive coordinator this year. How's that going to impact Austin Eckler? All in on both Gibbs and Amon-Ra. I'm all in on Amon-Ra 100%. I think he's a really, really good second-round pick, which is why you're seeing him get picked before Devontae Adams in this early in drafts. But Jahmyr Gibbs, I'm in on. I'm not all in on Gibbs because I think David Montgomery will also have a really big role in that offense. And I don't think Gibbs is going to have to be so insanely efficient with his touches to return 3rd-round value in fantasy, whereas David Montgomery doesn't need to be insanely efficient. He just needs to get the touchdown role that Jamal Williams had, and he can smash at his value. So I like David Montgomery actually a little bit more than Gibbs at their 2 costs. But Gibbs is the better receiving back. He is the more likely guy to make huge plays with his speed and receiving ability. So I get the love and excitement about him. I think his ceiling is high. but it feels like he's getting drafted close to his ceiling, whereas David Montgomery's getting drafted close to his floor. Keenan Allen and Bijan, or Aaron Jones and Garrett Wilson? Yeah, I think I would go Bijan and Keenan over Aaron Jones and Garrett Wilson, but it definitely is extremely close. I would prefer Garrett Wilson over Keenan for sure, but Bijan over Aaron Jones to me feels like a pretty good thing to lock in. I think Bijan's ceiling too is a lot higher than Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is not going to get the type of workload that Bijan can get, even though there's definitely a real chance they get similar workloads. Falcons absolutely can have a committee running back approach though, and Bijan can still smash. Same thing with Aaron Jones. It's close. That's definitely close. But yeah, I think I lean the Bijan side. Who are you taking at the 12-13 swing? Yeah, so I think you really can't go wrong at the 12-13 swing this year. You got to be looking at Saquon and Nick Chubb for sure. I don't even hate taking both of them if they're both there and starting with an RB build. There's not very many running backs this year locked into the type of workloads that Saquon and Nick Chubb are locked into. And Nick Chubb absolutely is going to catch more passes this season on what I think is going to be an improved Browns offense. So yeah, both Saquon and Chubb, two of the safer running backs you can take. But you're also going to be staring down some really, really elite receivers. I like CeeDee Lamb, A.J. Brown, and Amon-Ra St. Brown at the 12-13 turn too. So all those guys are guys to consider. I don't think you can take Pollard over Chubb or Saquon. So yeah, you're looking at either one of or both of Saquon and Chubb, depending on who's still on the board, and then CeeDee Lamb, A.J. Brown to follow that up, or Amon-Ra St. Brown. I don't hate Amon-Ra St. Brown even over A.J. Brown or CeeDee Lamb this year. I think there's a reason to consider that also, especially in PPR formats. I think Amon-Ra is going to get absolutely peppered with targets this year. Friend me goat, Alex Mullins, thanks for hopping in the TikTok live. Do appreciate you. Pollard and Chubb, definitely not terrible. Definitely not terrible. Amon-Ra and A.J. Brown over Diggs. No, I would not take either of them over Steph Diggs. What's up, Sam? Good to see you. Good to see you as well. Kylo, we are doing our second mock draft of the day. I'm going to start analyzing some of these teams after my next two picks, and we get towards these bench picks here. But I will be having to hop off, relatively soon in the next 20 minutes or so. So I want to make sure I have some time this time to analyze some of these teams that were picked. Where does Ridley go? Ridley's consistently going like within the first three picks of the third round. I don't think I've seen him go in the second round yet, but he's going like within the first three picks of the third round, like almost every single time. What do you think about Team 4 auto-picked Pittman? Yeah, I don't like Pittman much this year. It's really rare. It's really, really rare for rookie quarterbacks to sustain relevant fantasy wide receivers. Like elite fantasy receivers are very rarely playing with rookie quarterbacks. And then you to add on top of that Richardson's a rushing rookie quarterback, and I don't think that's good news for Michael Pittman. All right, let's look at the running backs, and my God, I mean, I really hope this happens in my drafts. If I can get David Montgomery in round 8, guys, I'm going to win a lot of my fantasy leagues this year, especially like doing this. I bailed on running back after I took JT and Eckler with two of my first 3 picks. To run that back with David Montgomery in round 8, I mean, I like David Montgomery more than all 3 of these running backs that were taken before him. I don't think I would take him over Javonte Williams. Man, this is pretty good value for Javonte too. I think I'm going to start to turn my tune on him a little bit if he's going to go this late. I would take David Montgomery over Dalvin Cook though as well. I just think the touchdown ceiling is so high for Monty in the Jamal Williams role this year. I'm pretty in on David Montgomery in the Jamal Williams role, and I think he can even catch more passes than Jamal Williams. How much do you hate my Swift auto pick? Yeah, I hate that one a lot. Where did Swift? Yeah, I don't love Swift this year. I don't see a consistent role. Any of the Eagles running backs, I don't think are going to have a consistent role this year. You're buying into a rotation at running back, and you're just going to have to guess each week which of these guys is about to absolutely have a huge week. Because one of the guys each week is probably going to have a really good fantasy week, but it's just good luck guessing which guy it's going to be. Is it going to be DeAndre Swift? Is it going to be Kenneth Gainwell? Is it going to be Rashad Penny? Or is Jalen Hurts going to run for 3 touchdowns? Like, any of those outcomes can be the case on any given week. It's going to be a really, really hard backfield to project week to week, which is why I'm pretty out on it for season-long fantasy. Gabe Davis in the 9th, Michael Thomas in the 9th. Absolutely great picks this late in drafts. I don't hate Zay Flowers, Quentin Johnson at this point in the draft too. I also don't hate Elijah Moore. I do have the Deshaun Watson stack looking at me here with that pick in the 9th round. The running back to this point, the only running back I would consider here is Charbonnet, who I think does have a really, really high ceiling if anything happens to Kenneth Walker. And yeah, I'm going to go Elijah Moore to get that stack with Deshaun Watson. I didn't need to draft Elijah Moore as a starter. You think Montgomery over Khalil Herbert? Yeah, I think I would do that. I do. I think I would do that. And I know Khalil Herbert's the starting running back on his team right now, but I think Khalil Herbert's going to be in a rotation. It's going to be a rotation for sure in that backfield. So I'm a little bit nervous about that. People still use sleeper. Underdog exists. Lil pup, pun intended here with the pup. Yeah, actually, I've been grinding underdog all off season. I just actually finished max entering the Best Ball Mania contest, but I made a mistake last year where I was best ball drafting too long, and it was too hard for me to transition my mindset into the season long mindset. Where best ball, it really is a different game, a little bit of a different strategy than season long, where you really need some consistency and some trust in guys week to week. So yeah, I'm done with the best ball drafts basically now, and I'm fully in mock drafting mode for my season long leagues and transitioning earlier this year to season long drafting mindset. Who are you taking at the 10-11 swing for a 10-team PPR? Yeah, I mean, you're going to get an absolutely stud 2 players at that pick. You're looking at really all these guys that went in the last 6 picks here: Bijan, Saquon, Nick Chubb, CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, Tony Pollard, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Any 2 of those guys is Diggs too. If he falls that far, any 2 of those guys are going to be a fantastic start for you. And there's a pretty steep drop off, in my opinion, after the Amon-Ra St. Brown, Devontae Adams picks. I don't think Garrett Wilson's quite in their tier yet. He definitely could be, but I think we're really hoping he's going to enter that tier a little bit too much with how early he's getting picked in comparison to these guys. So yeah, if you're in the back end of drafts, you're going to get 2 elite players. That the people that pick early, they're likely only going to get 1 a really elite player this year. Who are you taking at the 12th pick? Would you trade 3rd and 4th rounder for the 14th overall pick and a 9th rounder? No, I definitely would rather the 3rd and 4th round pick than the 1st round pick and the 9th round pick. I actually just did a trade like this in a 22-person draft that I did recently, where I traded my first pick, Stephon Diggs, for 3rd round pick, 4th round pick, and 5th round pick, and then I gave some later picks for that. If you can be the first person that fills out your starting lineup, that's an advantage in your fantasy draft if you're able to trade and make that happen. I like trading back more than I like trading up in fantasy. What do I do with Josh Jacobs? I mean, you got to hold on to him at this point, and you got to pray that he reports to training camp. And right now, he has not done that, but in all likelihood, he's going to report because he doesn't really have any other options. All right, I'm on the clock. I'm going to pick and then start analyzing some of these teams that have been drafted. We go with Tyler Algier. I like his upside as one of the better handcuffs in fantasy football. All right, so Chiefs WalterPicks. He is the worst team. He took Sky Moore 1st overall. That really messed with this mock draft. Christian McCaffrey went 2nd overall, which is pretty realistic still. Olave, Hurts, Hopkins, Judy, Akers. I like this starting lineup a lot. I like the Njoku pick. I really don't like the Hopkins pick, though, in the 4th round. I'm pretty scared about DeAndre Hopkins in this Titans offense. Jefferson goes 3rd overall. I don't see that happening in very many drafts at all. It's really unrealistic, I think, to happen, but we'll take it as it is. Jefferson, Devontae Smith, like that stack a lot. Mondre goes round 3 still. Probably a tiny bit steep now with the Zeke signing. I still think he catches a lot of passes, though, but I don't think I'm taking him over JT. George Kittle, I like him as in that top tier of tight ends, or really like that 3rd tier of tight ends after Kelsey, Andrews, Hawkinson. But I don't like him immediately after TJ Hawkinson. I feel like seeing Kittle right after Hawkinson just makes me feel not as great about that pick. And we will go Jalen Warren, another handcuff running back I like late in drafts. Okay. Jefferson team also got Herbert. I like the Herbert Mike Williams stack. Mike Williams in the 7th round is a great play. Ending with 4 straight running backs. You did get Zeke on the team. You have Mondre on. I don't hate that. I like the Raheem Mostert pick too. Pretty solid team overall here from the 3 spots, especially considering Jefferson went 3rd overall. Jamar Chase goes at 4. Jacobs, Josh Allen, TJ Hawkinson. Really like that Hawkinson pick. I like the McLaurin play. I'm starting to get a little bit nervous about this Miles Sanders groin injury that's really held him out of most of preseason so far. Hopefully he returns soon, though, because I do like him overall, assuming he's healthy. I don't like Michael Pittman. I don't hate Treylon Burks, but in season long, I'm definitely a little bit less bullish on him than I am in best ball, because I think good luck guessing the spike weeks for Treylon playing behind DeAndre Hopkins and what still is probably going to be a run-first team. I like the Charbonnet pick. I don't hate the Jameson Williams pick, and I'm fine with the A-Chain pick. Pretty good team overall here. Only a couple picks that I didn't love. I went Eckler, Jalen Waddle, JT, Debo Samuel, Jaren Waller, Deshaun, Deontay, David Montgomery, Elijah Moore. I'm not going to lie, guys. I think my team's absolutely stacked. If JT ends up playing in week 1, this team's probably the best team in the league. I haven't looked at the other teams yet, But third round JT at full health is not going to be fair. I don't think it's going to be fair. I still kind of wish I went Hawkinson in round 4 and then took a receiver in round 5. That probably would have ended up being Drake London if I went receiver in round 5. But I ended up getting Deontay so late that I feel like I would rather the upgrade of Waller to Hawkinson than the upgrade of Drake London to Deebo Samuel or Deontay Johnson to Deebo Samuel. But that's really the only nitpick I would make about this draft. I think Montgomery for me in the 8th is going to be an absolute smash pick. And yeah, I like the Elijah Moore stack. And the last 2 running backs I think are high upside handcuffs. All right, in the 6th spot, we had Tyreek, Derrick Henry. Definitely that's a pretty solid start. Justin Fields went pretty early here in the 3rd. I don't know about Fields over Lamar. I think I'd probably still take Lamar over Fields. I think there's a case for it. But I think this was a little bit of a reach here for Justin Fields. Metcalf was a solid pick. Dameon Pierce, I'm fine with, but I don't love. Evan Ingram, I'm fine with, but I also don't love. Like after the tier of Darren Waller, Kyle Pitts, Dallas Goedert is off the board, you're gonna get duds from the tight ends that are left. So I don't love spending a 6th round pick on a guy that's going to have duds throughout the season. Mike Evans, fine at that cost. Pacheco, I'm not a huge fan of. Brandon Cooks, Bateman, I think are good picks. Elijah Mitchell is fine. I don't think he's gonna win leagues unless of a McCaffrey injury, but that's the case for basically all these running backs that are taken at the end. I'd say okay team. I don't love the reach on Fields, but that definitely could still pay off. Okay, we got Kelsey, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, Trevor Lawrence. Pretty solid start. This is better than where I got Breece in the last mock draft, like mid to late 3rd round. It makes sense. That's where he's going to end up going. And I still think Breece can win leagues. I do not like stacking Garrett Wilson and Breece, though. I think that's a really bad move. Definitely a downgrade for this team. I like the Trevor Lawrence pick. I'm fine with that one. You did end up getting Dalvin too. Yeah, this team's just going to be a mess on a week-to-week basis to try to get a starting lineup for. I don't hate those last 3 receivers you took, but overall, I don't love this team with the stacking of the same teams, running backs and receivers. A lot of faith here in Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. Okay, Cooper Kupp at 8th. That's a league-winning pick, 100%. Starting Cooper Kupp, Devontae Adams feels like you're cheating in fantasy football. Then you got Andrews as well, Joe Burrow, Madison, and James Conner. Yeah, this is the best team. Guys, this is the best team. This pick from the 8th slot is the best team in this league so far. He has the 2nd best tight end who easily could compete with Kelsey to be the number 1 overall tight end. He has 2 top 5 receivers probably on this team. I mean, we'll see with Adams. Kupp is going to be a top 5 receiver if he stays healthy. I'm not too worried about the hamstring injury. And Adams has been a top 5 receiver for basically the last 4 straight years. Plus, you got Joe Burrow. Again, I'm not worried about his injury all that much either. And yeah, Madison and Connor, I think, are pretty good running backs for a 0 RB build like this. Then you also got Gibson and Jamal. I like the Gibson pick here. I don't love George Pickens, but I'm not going to nitpick this team. I think this team is really, really elite. And I'd like the wide receiver starts. If you're going to get Kupp at 8th overall, it's just going to be insane in fantasy this year. All right, Diggs, Amon-Ra, T. Higgins. T. Higgins slid pretty far in this draft. I don't hate this start. Yeah, the Swift pick blew this one up. Definitely blew this one up. I think the Swift pick was a mistake and was an auto pick here, but the team was off to a really good start. And you probably could have snagged James Conner. You could have even snagged Deshaun Watson. That would have been a pretty good move with this pick also. You ended up going tight end in the last round with Okonkwo. You're going to be playing the waiver wire at tight end for this team for sure. I don't hate the Tua pick. It's fine value at that cost. I think I'd like Daniel Jones value, even 2 rounds after Tua, a little bit more. Don't like the Tony pick. Fine with the Sutton pick. I like that a lot. I'd say really hot start that cooled off after the DeAndre Swift auto pick here. All right, Bijan and Pollard is a really, really elite start. This team's very good. I like the Javonte value here. You have 4 running backs. At least 2 of these running backs are probably going to end up being top 12 running backs in fantasy football. Plus, I like the Cooper pick, Drake London, Christian Kirk, Addison, Zay Flowers, 2 rookies with upside. You end up going at tight end. You got Tyler Higbee. Don't hate that at all if you're going last round tight end. And you got Daniel Jones. This is easily one of my top 2 favorite teams in this draft. I don't love this team from Trevor Martin here, our lead data scientist on the WalterPicks team. Don't love the ETN pick. AJ Brown, Keenan, I'm cool with. I'm fine with the Alvin Kamara pick. I like the Kyle Pitts pick. Actually, as the longer I look at this, the better this team gets. I don't think you needed Sam Laporta in the last round, though. You already had Kyle Pitts. Dak and Anthony Richardson's really interesting late round QB pairing. I like JSN a lot. I'm mostly just bashing on this Travis Etienne pick. Don't love him in the 3rd round. Last team here, Nick Chubb, CeeDee Lamb, Joe Mixon, Lamar, Tyler Lockett, Dallas Goedert, James Cook. Pretty solid team here, too. Yeah, this is much later than Joe Mixon went in the last mock. I like where you're getting Lockett. I like the Goddard pick before that tight end tier dropped. I like the James Cook pick. I don't love these last 4 picks, but they're the last 4 picks, so I'm not going to love anyone's last 4 picks a ton. I like where you got Lamar too, especially with where Justin Fields went. This feels like a really, really good spot to get Lamar in. This team's really good too. This is probably a top 4 team in this draft. All right, guys. Look at the team name, Bobby Jr. Which team name am I looking at? I don't know which team I'm supposed to be looking at there. That's my time, guys. We're not going to do another mock. I do have to run to a call, but I will be back live on Thursday around this same time to continue grinding the mocks with all of you. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Time is the most valuable thing we have. Thank you for spending some time with me today. Good luck, everybody.